Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Wells Fargo, PSE&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities. The New Jersey Education Association, working for great public schools for every child. Health Republic Insurance of New Jersey. New Jersey Sharing Network, dedicated to saving lives through organ and tissue donation. MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey. And by the Russell Berry Foundation. Promotional support provided by the Star Ledger, powering NJ.com, and by Commerce Magazine.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
Hi, I'm Steve Adubato, normally One-on-One. This is One-on-Two. It's worth it, trust me. Let me introduce our two guests. Our good friend, Joe Vitale, is the playwright of Murrow. And his colleague here is Stephen Gleason, who plays Edward R. Murrow in Murrow. Set this up for us, Joe. You've been working on this for a long time, on the extraordinary journalist, Edward R. Murrow.
Yeah.
It's a play you were working on starting when?
Back in the 80s, after I graduated actually from Columbia Journalism School, where one of my professors was Fred Friendly.
Who, in fact, was the producer with the great Murrow.
That's right, you know, his collaborator and producer. And based on Fred's stories, some of the great stories he told there at Columbia, I got to writing it and inspired by that. And actually, sometime in the mid-'80s, sent it to David Susskind, pretty famous producer.
That's right.
And Mr. Susskind really liked the play and tried for a while to actually get it produced. We didn't get around to doing that, but got to meet and speak with Mrs. Murrow, which was really exciting. He sent her the play and got to speak to her on the phone about that, so that was a great moment.
For people who do not know who Edward R. Murrow was and why he was a giant in our industry, who was he and why did he matter?
Well, he was a man who was ahead of his time. He had his fingers on what mattered in news, and he was like the first man, wasn't he, in World War II to bring that scene into people's homes through the radio. And then in television, you know, he brought all of that controversy with McCarthy again into people's homes.
Joseph McCarthy was in 1954. He took United States Senator Joseph McCarthy on, who was alleging to have these lists that he was going to expose American citizens, expose members of Congress, expose actors, red baiting, if you will. Right. And McCarthy took him on.
Murrow took him on at a...
Excuse me, Murrow took on McCarthy.
At a critical moment. Amazing in some ways, because Murrow was this famous man.
Yes.
Had a great career.
Risky.
All the power, all the money, and yet, when you think about it, Steve, he put his career on the line and his reputation and took on Joe McCarthy really at the height of his power.
McCarthy accusing everyone of being a communist.
That's
which
right.
At the time in 1954, during the heart of the middle of the Cold War, right?
Exactly.
What did that mean?
It meant you were in trouble, whether you were working in academia, even in broadcasting. They had a publication out called Red Channels.
They had lists, didn't they?
Which, yeah, purported to name people in the media who were communists or communist sympathizers.
It's hard to work if you're on that list.
You didn't. The blacklisting. We heard about the blacklisting. So March 9th, 1954, Ed Murrow took on Joe McCarthy very directly in a way no commentator, reporter had ever taken on a political figure head on. Yeah. And it was quite a remarkable broadcast.
And so you do this play, and you pick this guy to be Murrow.
That's right.
Why did he pick you?
I don't know. We were talking earlier how I sent a video to him, and I kind of dressed up like him and did one of his speeches, as he would have.
With the cigarette thing?
I didn't have a cigarette. I should have. And, you know, you emailed me back, and something told me I should just go for it, you know, and I did. And I knew something about him, of course, in college, but I've grown to become very close to his principles, his risk-taking, his integrity, and his smarts.
Yeah. Joe, the play, you know, we're taping this program in the winter of 2014. The play ran, right?
Yeah, we had a reading at the Dramatists Guild January 24th.
Reaction?
Stephen can tell you better. It was sold out. It was standing room only, and the audience seemed to really like it. The response was tremendous. I think both to Stephen as an actor, but also to the man. I think they were truly moved by his story.
What does it mean to you to have spent so much time connected to this project and then to get that reaction?
It's a great feeling because as a writer, you know, you work in isolation, and until your words are out there in front of people, you're not really sure about the quality of what you've done. But there's a lot of Murrow in the play. There's a lot of his actual broadcast in the play, so people can actually hear what it was like and see what it was like to listen to Murrow make those broadcasts. So it meant a lot to get that reaction. It also meant a lot. I think people have a thirst today and a hunger for that sort of integrity.
You do think that?
I do think that.
Why do you think? How do you think Murrow would have done in cable news?
He would have fought it, I think.
Yeah. Why? You think a little food fight going on in cable news?
I don't know. I think he was the man at the time.
Yeah, right.
He was the perfect guy at the time, and thank God he was around.
How wild that Murrow got pushed out.
Yeah.
Murrow got pushed out.
Industry was changing quite fast, and
not an entertainment guy, right?
No,
that wasn't his thing.
Although
he did
person to person.
He did person to person, which was not to be confused with See It Now.
That's right.
Right, there's See It Now.
Right. The
which
news
was
show.
Right. And there's person to person.
Right. And
entertainment.
He went into their homes, you know, the Hollywood people, and
he could do it.
Yes, he did it very well, and was very highly rated.
But he could do it both.
Both.
That was not his love.
No, in fact, there's a famous quote, Steve. Somebody asked him once about that, and he was very shrewd because he knew you had to build up a certain amount of clout.
Yes.
And remember, Person to Person was one of the, you know, really popular shows.
Yes.
He said, "I do the show I hate to be able to do the show I love."
It's so true.
He knew it. He knew it.
It paid bills, didn't it?
It paid the bills, and it gave him the clout and the standing to be able to do that.
Let me ask you this in the time we have.
Yeah.
How do you think those of us who are in this business and live on, you know, it's ridiculous, live on Murrow's shoulders. And by the way, WNET, our parent, if you will, in New York, the PBS flagship, it was Murrow who did the first broadcast.
I know that, and I saw it.
Who was there. You ever see it?
Yes.
Television can teach, television can illuminate, television can educate, and if it chooses not to do those things, it is simply wires in a box.
That's right, and you use that line.
That's my ending.
Is it right?
It's the last line
I'll never
of the play.
forget seeing that video,
Yeah,
right?
it's fantastic. Yeah,
it's true.
It's a great broadcast.
yeah, prophetic.
Yeah.
It reminds us
Yeah.
it isn't just the medium. It's what we choose to do with it, right?
That's right.
It's what you do with it.
It's
He
a
knew
challenge for all of us.
There's a certain responsibility, obviously, and he took that on. Yeah.
Exactly.
What do you want people to remember about this guy?
His integrity and his guts. He was a purist in many ways. And Eric Severide said something about him, which was
From
so true.
CBS.
When he died,
Right.
and Severide was one of his colleagues. He said, "He was an original, a shooting star. We shall not see his like again." And I
Yeah.
think that kind of summed it up.
Well, it is a great service that you've done. Our friend Joe Vitale, a playwright of Murrow, and Stephen Gleason, who plays Edward R. Murrow in this play. I want to thank both of you for joining us.
Thanks,
And,
Steve.
You have a home
Appreciate
with
it.
us.
Thank you.
And we're just in Murrow's world.
That's right.
We'll be back right after this. Thanks, guys.
If you would like more information on this program, or if you'd like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Visit us online at oneonone.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Dr. Adam Shiroff is the Chief of Trauma at Jersey Shore University Medical Center. Good to see you, Doctor.
Good to see you, Steve. Thanks.
Now, right next to you, if that camera pans over, get this shot, there is a fascinating skeleton next to you, right? And what are we looking at right there?
So this is a plastic model of a skeleton. You know, Steve, my patients do typically better than this.
Okay.
But this is a model just to demonstrate one of the sort of innovative procedures that we do at Jersey Shore, and it's a new technology used to fix rib fractures. And it's a problem that's been around obviously for a long time. And there's a new procedure out, rib fracture fixation, that's used.
It's called rib fracture fixation, because every time someone has had a problem with the rib, right? Say they fracture a rib.
Correct.
My understanding is, very often physicians will say, doctors say, look, rest, I don't know, the ice, then heat, then ice, then heat, rest, can't do much.
Right.
You say?
I say that's not the case anymore. You know, I'm not talking about the weekend warrior who cracks a rib playing touch football. I'm talking about the guy who gets hit by the car, falls 15 feet off a roof at a construction site, the traumatically injured patient. But there's now a technology, the titanium plating systems, that will allow us to put those ribs back together, treat them like orthopods have treated bones for years, prevent the pain that goes along with rib movement, prevent the respiratory compromise that goes along with that.
Oh, the respiratory compromise.
Right.
What does that mean?
So folks who have rib fractures, you and I walk around all day taking deep breaths, sighing, yawning, we don't even notice it. Folks who have rib fractures and chest pain, they don't do that, particularly with a number of rib fractures. So during that, the small air sacs in the lungs filled with fluid, they're not coughing, they're not taking deep breaths, they're at huge risk for pneumonia. And in the hospital with huge risk for pneumonia, those patients are going to end up on a ventilator, they're going to end up on the ICU, needing to go to rehab with a tracheostomy. You know, I saw this throughout my training for years and years, and there was just nothing you could do for these patients. Surgeons tried for 100 years to fix ribs with wires and different things, and now there's a technology that actually works.
What is the technology?
The technology is titanium plates, and it's very similar to what's been used in the past for treating broken jaws.
Where are the titanium plates?
So here, so you can see this blue,
Bob Morris, our director, you getting this? Yeah, I can see it.
blue plate there. There's a gold plate here. So there's this system that's used is by the DePuy Synthes Corporation, part of Johnson & Johnson. They make plates that are specifically designed based on CAT scan data for each rib individually.
Right.
So if you had to span, say, 2 fractures on a rib, you can use a very long contoured plate, and this would allow you to take care of a number of fractures with just one piece of hardware.
So hold on. How long do they stay in?
They stay in forever.
No.
Yes.
They stay in forever?
They stay in forever. I give you a little business card that you put in your pocket so the TSA guys at the airport don't go crazy. And
wait a minute, seriously?
Seriously. It's titanium. It doesn't cause a reaction. It's just like other orthopedic hardware. It's titanium.
So you give, in all seriousness, you give someone a card that says, look, I'm going through
Right. I have this kind of hardware. It's here on my chest. It's got screws with a head that look like this. It's very specific. So there's not a security concern. Because that's one of the first questions out of patients' mouths are, A, can I get an MRI? The answer is yes.
You can get an MRI.
It is. It's not magnetic. It's titanium.
Right.
And B, what's going to happen when I go through the thing at the airport when the TSA guys are freaking out that I've got a chest full of metal?
Who's eligible, who's not?
So eligibility, it's largely...
So let me put it this way. Sure. Who's a good candidate, who is not such a great candidate?
So a good candidate for this operation is someone who's got multiple rib fractures, has a decent sort of performance status, who's a decent baseline health. Although you could argue that those who aren't in baseline health have even more of a need to breathe the right way faster. So it's a patient who's suffering from pain, can't take deep breaths, their pain isn't controlled with just the normal sort of oral narcotics or Tylenol or Percocet or whatever, or those who have a chest wall deformity. So they can actually have multiple fractures that could cause an asymmetry in their chest, and that can lead to long-term problems down the road.
Age matter?
It does. I've operated on patients as young as in their 20s and as old as 90.
That's interesting. I'm going to shift gears here.
Sure.
The other thing I want to talk about is the trauma center that you're involved in. I hear trauma center, I think, oh, so you're talking about the ED or the emergency room.
Right.
Not the same thing?
Not the same thing. You know, when a trauma center is a building, it's a hospital. And what a trauma center is, it's a dedication by that hospital to the resources and the personnel to provide care for the injured patient immediately. So it's
Give me for instance.
So for instance, there's general surgeons all over the country that can take out a spleen, no problem. There's neurosurgeons at every other community hospital that can take out a blood clot from the brain. However, a trauma center has those specialists immediately available. And we've known since the 60s that getting the patient in the right place at the right time, in the right hands, is what saves lives. So trauma centers have that dedication to those resources.
What are we looking at right there in the video?
That's the State Police helicopter North Star landing on the Jersey Shore.
Now, okay, so an ED.
An emergency room is incredibly valuable. Don't make no mistake. The emergency department at Jersey Shore, incredibly well run by Bob Sweeney, a good friend of mine. They see 85,000 patients a year. The trauma center, I may see only 2,000. But it's so resource heavy, and the emergency room will see such a breadth of everything from someone with a cold who doesn't want to go to their primary care doc to the woman delivering the baby who is coming in the door. So they have an incredible breadth, and really the trauma center and the trauma surgeon who's dedicated waiting for the patient, so the patient doesn't have to wait for that resource to come in.
Very different focus.
Very different focus.
One more thing. You're heavily into injury prevention.
Right, so
what can be prevented, what can't?
Right, so the vast majority of trauma, really even in the most violent areas of the country, the majority of trauma is what's called a blunt mechanism, which means, so there's penetrating trauma, which is stabs and gunshot wounds and things like that. And then there's blunt mechanism, which is car accidents, pedestrians and bicyclists being struck by cars, people falling off of things. And the majority of things are a blunt mechanism. So trauma, which is sort of an interesting in the business world, we like a lot of medicine, work very, very hard to put ourselves out of business. So a huge amount of energy goes into injury prevention, and a lot of trauma prevention is really reiterating what is common sense. So car seats. Is your car seat for your child buckled in right? We have a program that's every month in conjunction with the state police to ensure that it's free. Bring your car seat to Jersey Shore, they will check it, help you pick out the car seat.
You got to do it the right way.
Help you install the car seat. I was actually
concerned about this just the other day with our daughter. I said, I don't think this is right.
It's a little loose, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I really didn't know exactly how to do it, and I said, I can't take her.
Right.
I just can't take her. You really have to know how to do it. Do you go to the police department?
It's done at the hospital. So there's people that are certified in these car seat things, and they will help check that. And another huge one is the focus on distracted and drinking and driving. There's a program that we run that touches between 8,000 and 10,000 high school age kids and their parents a year. And that's about put the phone down, don't drink and drive, be smart. Right, it's common sense, don't text and drive.
Injury prevention.
Injury prevention.
Good stuff. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That's fascinating, by the way.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
One-on-one will continue right after this.
If you would like more information on this program, or if you'd like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Visit us online at oneonone.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Ken Jennings is the principal of Benedictine Academy. Good to see you.
Thank you, Steve.
For those who do not know your academy, describe it.
We're an all-girls college preparatory high school in the city of Elizabeth. We have 200 students, and we're very active in a lot of different ways. Obviously, academically, college preparatory. Our students are attending some of the major universities, Princeton University, NYU, Fordham, University of Notre Dame, girls that are involved in the sciences, the humanities. Sure. So it's an exciting time in our school.
I met some of the young ladies from Benedictine at the Governor's Jefferson Awards that are done every year, which honor and recognize those who are making a difference. And the young women from your school were recognized for the work that they are doing in connection with two areas. One having to do with trying to fight bullying, and the other having to do with?
Human trafficking.
Yeah. Describe that, because it is just amazing.
It's the girls, and under the leadership of our campus minister, Linda Mikowski, and also Sister Donna Jo Rapetti, our guidance counselor, have formed a student leadership team, and they call themselves the Core Defenders. Core from the Latin word meaning heart, and they want to defend the heart, speak to the heart of young people, adults. Education, they feel, is empowerment. And so the girls have done an amazing job to really get the program out there about a curriculum, about how to fight human trafficking.
Well, what are they doing specifically?
Well, right now, one of the initiatives that they have just done is a program called B5 by 5.
Right.
And it's again, it provides schools, educators with an entire curriculum to lay out some of the danger signs for human trafficking. And people might think that it will be in this area, but it is. So things like, be vigilant and talk to your parents about where you're going. Be careful, of course, of the social media, Facebook, and other areas. So again, to empower.
And in fact, there's a public service announcement we're about to show right now that goes to that you guys are very involved in, right?
That's correct. And we've been working, Mrs. Mikowski and Sister Donna Joe have been working with the Attorney General's office. They just had a big press conference this week, again, because the Super Bowl is coming here to New Jersey.
Sure.
And as a result of that, they feel, again, there's going to be a proliferation sadly, of people coming to this area.
We're taping around the time of the Super Bowl, but this program will be seen afterwards. But this PSA is still very valuable. Let's go to the PSA, and it speaks for itself.
My name is Leah Albright Bird. Between the ages of 14 and 18, I was sex trafficked. Today, I am the executive director of Bridget's Dream.
I'm Assistant Attorney General Tracy Thompson, chair of the New Jersey Human Trafficking Task Force. Leah's story is one of exceptional courage and empowerment. Unfortunately, her friend Bridget Gray's story did not end well.
According to a Shared Hope International report, over 100,000 American children fall prey to sex trafficking each year. And the Department of Justice reports that close to 300,000 more are at risk. If you think it can't happen to you or your child, you're wrong.
Ken, why is this so important for the young women at your school to be involved in this fight?
Well, I think that on a couple different levels. Obviously, as a Catholic high school, we have a mission to be about social justice. And this is one of the things I think it stems from our mission and beliefs, the care and dignity of every human individual. You mentioned before about bullying. That's something obviously that's never accepted in our school or within any Catholic school, any school here in New Jersey. And so we feel very passionate about that idea that, we want to be a bully-free school, but also we want to make sure that our young women are empowered to know that they can become anything they can become.
Who are these young women? Where do they come from?
Our students?
Yes.
They come from the local Essex and Union County areas. Many of them come from financially difficult backgrounds. So our school, through our development office, we raised last year $1.1 million in funds. Sister Germaine, our president, we call her kind of the face of Benedictine Academy. Father Edwin down at St. Benedict's, our brother school, and Sister Germaine and Rosemary Anderson in the development office do an incredible job to raise money so that our students have a Benedictine Catholic education.
For those who don't know, I happen to go to an all-boys Catholic high school, as you well know,
yes,
which doesn't even exist anymore. As Catholic, run by the Irish Christian Brothers. I know what that education is. I know what it means. It's hard to describe to someone who has never had that experience what it does mean. But what does it mean to those young women?
I think, as I said before, I think there's that whole idea of the education as empowerment, but also we're teaching our young ladies about the idea of critical thinking here. They learn in the textbook about social justice, but now they have a platform to be able actually to live it out. Ms. Mikowski and the core defenders, it really came from the creativity of the students. They working together, and and they're sharing that message with other schools. So it's the idea that it starts with an idea that they read about, hear about, but now it's put into action.
Do you think it matters? It's interesting. For those of us who grew up in urban areas, I'm always curious about this. I wonder if parochial schools in urban areas are different than parochial schools in suburban areas. You're in a very urban area.
Yes.
For these young women, it means, listen, they have choices, and there's some terrific public schools. Do you think it's different?
Well, I definitely think it's different. I mean, I hear from families and parents who ask, we want our daughter at Benedictine Academy, not only because it's a safe school, but because there are moral values and foundations that, we as Catholic graduates know about. And I think that makes such a big difference. They go on to become leaders of the future. And we see that in our students. They're making a big difference, and they care, and they're passionate. And that stems, I think, from the fact that the faculty has a mission. We call it listen, learn, love, and lead. Our belief system system. We say everywhere they go, Jesus Christ is the first teacher of our school. Everywhere they look, there are moral values and principles, and I think it all emanates from that, and we talk about that every single day. Like St. Benedict's Prep, we have a homeroom where we all gather, and we have that common message. So we're all passionate. I mean, that's the great thing. I mean, as Catholic educators, you know, we're passionate about our vocation. We really want to go out there, make a difference. I know I feel that, and I think all of us staff at Benedictine Academy.
Just want to clarify to our brothers and sisters in the public schools, and we're very close to those teachers, and that's why we celebrate teachers through our Classroom Close-Up series in cooperation with the NJEA. We know great things go on in public schools as well, but we just want to acknowledge that for certain people, they have a choice, and that is where they choose to.
Exactly. And we've shared that message. You know, we work with public schools, charter schools, in sharing the message about the abolition of human slavery. To think about 27 million people enslaved. You know, that's an incredible crisis. So it doesn't really matter whether it's parochial or public schools. This is a message that's for all human beings, and we want our girls to get that out there. We even have a flash drive that's been created by Mrs. Mikowski and Sister Donna Joe, so that it can go to any school here in America. We're also one of the first schools to be part of the Frederick Douglass initiatives. Frederick Douglass, of course, the great emancipator of the slaves. His great-great-grandson has been involved with our school, has spoken to our school about the whole issue of human slavery.
You have an amazing school with amazing young women who are leaders and are making a difference. You're very proud of them, aren't you?
I'm very proud of the young women at Benedictine Academy, and it's just a great place to be.
Ken Jennings, principal of Benedictine Academy in beautiful Elizabeth, New Jersey, where important things go on. They fight bullying and human trafficking every day. That's why they won the Jefferson Award for making a difference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Wells Fargo, PSE&G, the New Jersey Education Association, Health Republic Insurance of New Jersey, New Jersey Sharing Network, MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey, and by the Russell Berry Foundation. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.